Hello everybody, I just wanted to do a quick video on the new DJI FPV drone. Some of you are thinking of buying one or getting it, or maybe you're weighing the options. So I just wanted to make this video to hopefully help you. And I'm in Japan, so the rules and laws here are a little different to some places, but for the most part, this is more about the drone. And I have never flown FPV drone before. I have never dealt with them before, so this is all new to me as well. I have been flying drones, the normal Mavics and the Phantoms, for years. I've 300-400 plus hours on them. I mean, I've gone to countries and flown. I love it, but it's a little different. It's actually a lot different. So I just want to give you kind of first impressions and what to think about and how, what you should be prepared for, I guess to say. And my overall, the drone, this is the new DJI FPV drone. So you can see it's built a little different. See how the back blades are up higher and the front blades are down lower? Now these are the drones I usually fly. Now there is a big difference between these two drones. And like I said, I don't know much about the FPV drones, so I'm not going to go into technical stuff, or this is from what my experience is from testing this drone and being able to play with it for a couple days to see what it's like. The biggest thing is the way they fly is totally different. If you are used to flying Mavics and Phantoms and these kind of drones, these four blades pretty much move like this. I mean, it pretty much goes like this. It goes, the more it tilts, it'll go a little faster, but you're only getting about that much. Now, I personally have not gone into manual mode yet on the FPV because I'm not comfortable enough. I'm not that courageous. I have been using the flight simulator app that DJI has put out. I've also downloaded a couple things to practice because I can't fly on the app. How am I supposed to fly it in real life? If I can't, I love games, and if I can't figure out how to fly a simulation, then there's no way I'm going to fly the real thing. So I'm trying to put in the hours on the simulation first, and I highly, highly suggest you do that. You might want to even download that app before you even buy the drone, just to see what it's like, the difference, because I didn't know what to expect, and it's totally out of my comfort zone. But I love it. I'm having a blast trying to figure it out. So anyway, back to the drone. So when you fly them, they fly like this. And you get pretty good speed up, and your camera's here so you can get that aerial shot, you can get that nice scenery shot, things like that. And that's what these are for. They're fun, and I love it. It's a blast. Now the FPV drone, for one, the camera, see how it tilts almost horizontal with this thing being vertical? Well, that's because that's how it flies. It literally, when you put it into full power and manual and stuff, this is how it's flying. It's coming at you like that. You can, and this is what's kind of good about this drone, because other FPV drones, from what I know, are racing drones, and that's how they fly. They loop-de-loops and flips and up waterfalls and through ravines and stuff like that, which is amazing. I've always been interested in how they do that, and it's just like, what am I doing different, or what is their drone different? How is their drone different from mine? But now I'm figuring it out. Complete different drone. That's the way they fly completely. So anyway, when you're flying this thing, you can do this, and it's like a hybrid. I guess this was more, I would call it a hybrid, because you can fly it as a normal drone, just like the Mavic or the Phantom. You can fly it like this. You keep it in normal mode or sports mode. Sports mode, of course, is extremely fast, much faster than these other drones, which kind of scared me a little bit. But anyway, so you can fly it like a hybrid. It'll fly like a normal drone. You do this, but as soon as you switch it to that manual, I forget what they call it, full acro mode, I guess it's called, and then you're getting these things. Now, the difference is, when you're flying this drone and you're pulling at full power, this is, you got it like this, and then when it stops, it comes back and it does its thing. Now, if you have this thing in full manual and you do this and you just keep going, it's going to go with you. And then next thing you know, it's going to go straight down to the ground. I mean, it's just going to pull down. So you have to be good enough to control it and flip it back and stuff like that. So that's a huge difference. So like the Mavic, these propellers are not fixed. They fold in. You can, and the blades, the arms fold in, so they can be compact. The blades fold in, so you can put it in a bag or whatever and carry it. So when these things are spinning, if it hits something, it usually just folds them in, or it might hit your skin and hurt a little bit, but it's not going to be that bad. It folds. Now, the FPV drone does not fold. These arms are fixed. So this is solid. And these blades do not fold. These are fixed. So if these hit you, I'm sure it's going to draw blood because they're going a lot of torque. So you have to be careful with that as well. There's no flexibility with this thing. If you hit a wall going with this thing, you're probably going to snap the arm in a heartbeat, which is, it's an expensive drone, so you need to be extremely careful. Yet again, hence what I said before, you need to use that simulation apps and to get used to it before you just go out and fly this thing in full manual mode. So that's the drone. I mean, I just wanted to go over that. So just be careful and know that you can use it as a normal type of drone like what we're used to, not the FPVs. You'll just have the goggles on. You don't have to use the goggles. You can use it without the goggles, but kind of takes the point away from having an FPV drone if you don't use the goggles. Which today, actually, I flew around some trees and stuff on the goggles. I'll try to show a video. And it was so much easier because I can see the way I can see from the drone's point of view. And FPV does stand for first person view. So you're getting the first person view through the drone's eyes. So I was just going around trees. It was really easy. With this one, you can see it, but you really don't know what's around you. You have to be very careful because it's just not the same. I don't know. If you when you fly it, you'll understand. So back to what we were going over. This, if you fly it like a normal drone, you can, do some fun things with it. You can do that. And one of these days, hopefully I have enough courage to flip to manual mode and give it a shot once I put about 200 hours into the simulator. But for now, I'm having fun with just the way it is. It's extremely fast. Now here is my two main complaints about this drone. And these are probably the only two complaints I have. One, the battery life. It says 20 minutes, but I'm playing with it and I'm testing it. I'm going, sports mode, normal mode. I'm getting about 10 minutes, and it's a pretty big battery. Look at that. It's heavy. It snaps in the back, and you got your little plug in here. Now, I've got maybe 10 minutes out of it. I don't think I've got more than 10, maybe 12 minutes. I don't know. So I hope the battery life, somehow there's an update, or maybe they come out with a better battery life. Because when you're flying like that, your first person view, you're going through trees, and then it goes to low battery warning. You're scared because if it goes up to return home and you're under trees and between whatever, you get nervous, and it kind of makes you panic a little bit. But something that's cool, before I go into the other bad part of the drone, listen to the sound it makes when you turn it on. I love this. It just sounds like Terminator's coming for you. That's just beautiful. I'm glad they did that. Just makes you feel like you can cut through trees. So, and you can also, through the app and stuff, you can change the lights here. You can change the blue, red, wave. And it's customizable. And the shell is actually interchangeable. It has a green one. It came with a green one. I don't know where I put it. So it's a green thing. I'm sure they'll come out with more colors and stuff. I've heard that the parts are easy to swap out, because if you do break it, because it is a FPV drone, so it is made for racing, you're going to crash it and stuff. So the parts are pretty easy to swap out from what I heard. I know there's like a brace thing that you can buy to put here to keep the arms like more sturdy, which I think I'm going to get that just in case I hit something. I'd rather have to have that little bracing. So that's the drone itself. You see how the back propellers are higher than the... And then the cameras... Oops, where's the camera? So you can get that. It's interesting. I've never dealt with this FPV drones before, so just by looking at this, I can see the difference. I mean, I can see why these guys can do these amazing tricks. And if you watch the videos, it's just, they're amazing. I've always thought they were on another level, but after doing the simulator and just trying, one day I hope to be a quarter of what half these guys are. So, the next bad thing that I don't like about this is, this is the goggles. These are great. I mean, the connection is amazing. That's not it. Thing is you have a hole here that you plug your battery pack for the goggles. Now that's weird. Why didn't they just attach the goggle battery somehow to the goggles? Maybe it's make it heavier, or they didn't want it or something. I don't know. But you got this cable that comes down to the battery. And then on this side, you have a cable that plugs into your phone. So your Android or your iPhone for the app. So you have to have your app going through the goggles to connect. So you have, on both sides, you have these cables running down. That is a little annoying because you got to find a place. And right now it's not too hot, so you can wear a jacket so you have pockets to put it in. But once the summer gets here, I'm going to have to buy a fanny pack or something to carry this. And that's just not my... I wish they had like a cell phone holder or a battery pack holder. Maybe they'll come out with it later. And there is a memory card inside the headset as well. So there's a memory SD card space here on the drone. And there's one in here. So they both record the same videos. This is a little less quality, a little lower quality. This is more like, 4K, 60 frames, blah, blah, blah. This one is a little less quality because it's just receiving. And it's more for if you lose your drone, so you can kind of go back and watch the videos and see kind of where it went, I guess. But it's cool to have two copies of the same video. Now, I also wish they would let you figure out a way that you could show what we see from inside the goggles. When you're looking through the goggles, you'll see like a little H where you took off. That's your home point. So you always know where your home point is, no matter where you are. You can just flip the drone around and it'll show you. So that's kind of cool. Underneath the goggles here, you have little eye adjustment areas, so you can adjust it for your width of eyes, I guess. You have your record button up here, your select button, and your little thumb toggle, so you can go through the options and stuff in this. There's a lot of options in the thing. I'm not going to go over that because I'm not a pro. I don't want to give you the wrong advice. I just want to go over the basics so you know to buy this or not. And you know what? There is some buttons here on the side, up and down, and I have never seen those before. So I am interested to find out what those are for. I just now noticed them. Never had to use them, so they can't be too important unless I'm doing something totally wrong. Okay, so that's the goggles. You have your 4 antennas. Now, when I've watched videos of these FPV pilots and I see their video feed, and it's kind of choppy and pixelated, I was always like, damn, these guys are good to have that kind of unclear video and still be able to fly around these tracks and stuff. With these, that is not a problem. The connection is crystal clear. I mean, it's like looking out of the camera. I mean, it's like literally like you're in front of the drone and it's carrying you as you fly through the trees or wherever you're going. Clear connection, and I've not had any breakup or anything yet, but I haven't flown it too crazy, so maybe that's on me. But for what I have done, I've had no issues, and it's a really crystal clear. And I've had some other drone pilots that I know who tested it out, and they were like, wow, it's just so clear. So there is no issue with that. You have a crystal clear video feed as long as you keep it within a good distance from where you are. But I guess that's because of the 4 antennas and stuff. Okay, so the battery for the goggles. And now this is what runs the cable up to the goggles. So you'll have this somewhere in your pocket or somewhere in your fanny pack if you want to buy one. Now let's go over the controller. Now it starts off as your basic controller. Let's see, get a good view of that. It starts off as your basic, simple DJI controller. The size is great. The weight, no issues there whatsoever. The antenna is right here. You flip it up. Now that's your antenna. That's pretty convenient. And I've gone pretty good distance, and I've had no disconnects or anything, so that's good. Before we talk about what's different, I'll go over what's the same. You have your power button, you have your 2 thumb controls, you have your record, your video record or take a picture. You have your return to home and pause. Now this, like if you're flying or whatever and you just hit this, it'll stop and pause it. It'll just puts everything into a pause mode, which is pretty interesting. You have your camera toggle, I guess it's called, so you can adjust your camera. Now you can do that here too. You just click it. Now I think you can adjust this for different personal needs or whatever, but for the basic default, that's like camera down, camera middle, camera up. So you'll have up, and then you have the start stop, which starts the motors. That's a little different. Usually you just bring it in, but this That's if you're flying in manual mode, or if you're flying in normal, you know, then if you're flying in normal or sports, then it's just like a normal controller. Now here is your mode select. Sports is up, or manual is up, sports is middle. Oh, wait a minute. Normal is up, sports is middle, and manual is down. Now manual, even if you push down on this, it will not go to manual unless you go into the system setting and change it to allow manual. That way you don't mistakenly hit it and it goes into manual and you go crazy. So that's pretty cool too. They thought ahead. Now a big difference with this drone. If you're flying like a normal drone like we do, like a Mavic or a Phantom or whatever, then you keep these thumb controllers in the middle. They're spring loaded like that. See how they bounce back? If you notice, this one does not bounce back. I know the camera is locking on my face, so, but I think you can see it for the most part. So this one is not bouncing back into the middle, and that's because I set it up for manual mode, because for the simulator, that's what I'm using, is like a real manual mode controller. And why you do that is because this is your power. So if you're in the middle, you're at 50% all the time. You don't want to be at 50%. If you get in a mess and you let off your thumb controls, you're still at 50%. So you're not stopping anything. You're just going straight into a wall. So why they do that is, so all the way down is 0%, all the way up is 100%. And you can slowly adjust it to your speed and your liking. If you want to give it 30%, 40%, if you get in a panic mode, you pull it down and it's just no power. It's kind of like a remote control helicopter, if you've ever played with those. Then how you do that is you got to take this back part off. You just pop that open, and it comes with an Allen wrench, and you just go in there and you turn those screws, and that tightens this spring load, or loosens it. And then you don't have that flip back, the spring load. This from the side it works, but not up and down, like this one. So that's what you have to do if you want to go in the manual mode. You have to prepare your controller. Now, I'm not really sure if you have it set like this and you want to fly normal, how that would work. I've never done it. I've been using the motion controller, which I'll explain in a second. I haven't really used this other than the simulator, so I'll have to try that out sometime. And you have your C1 button, which can be a different thing. You have cruise control. I think this is cruise control too. Like you can, when you go in a certain speed in normal motorsports, you just hit it and it just locks in that speed like a car, and you just go that speed. So that's it for the controller. It's normal, simple controller, nothing too crazy. You have to kind of get ready for the Allen wrench adjusting thing, because if you want to use it in manual mode. But you don't have to use it in manual mode, but really what's the purpose of getting an FPV drone if you're just going to use it like a Mavic? Just get a Mavic then. That's my advice. If you really want to level up your game and you really want to experience the full potential, then yes, get the FPV drone and be ready. But it's expensive, so be prepared. Just, you know, do your homework, practice, use the simulator. I use the simulator all the time, and that's another thing. When I'm using the simulator through the goggles, if I'm on there for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I don't get motion sick, but doing that through the goggles, and it is a game, it's digital, so you kind of start to get a little queasy, like you just feel you're not feeling that good. So what I've done now is I'll screen share my iPhone to my TV, to the Apple TV. So I see what my phone sees, which they see the same thing that the goggles see. So I'm just streaming it to the TV, and I'm doing it through my TV rather than looking through the goggles. Is it better or worse? I don't know, but I don't get motion sickness because you have the goggles on, and you just by habit, you'll turn your head and you just start to feel queasy. But looking at the TV or looking straight at the TV, you don't turn your head as much. And I know as a beginner, that's a common thing where people turn their head and they get confused. So one step at a time. I'm trying to do everything I can do to prepare myself to take this thing out and just go crazy with it. So last but not least, and this is my favorite thing, it is an FPV drone. If you're going to get it, I would suggest you plan to enjoy it. But since I'm not going to manual mode, I'm not getting 100% of what this thing can do for me. But because of this little motion controller, I'm getting about 70% because this thing is awesome. I am happy with just this and the drone. What this is it looks like a joystick for back in the day when you had Atari or even Xbox or Sega Saturn or anything that had an airplane controller, that's kind of what it looks like. Now the trigger is your throttle, and then you have your turn your engines on, and your emergency stop button. So if you hit that, it'll just puts everything in stop. You have your mode select, you have your camera tilt on the side, and your record button, as well as your power button. So how this works, it's amazing, and it is so like point on with sensitivity. So when this is in the air, first you take off, you push the button, you hold it down, and it takes off to its regular, what, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. If you pull the throttle, it's going to take off. If it's in sports mode, it'll take off faster. The more throttle you give it, the faster it's going to go. But if you turn, it will follow your hand like gesture. Now if you want to like come around, you just turn it like this and it'll slowly turn. But if you want to crank it, if you turn like this, it'll just hook. And you see kind of like what the camera sees. So if you want to go up, you just tilt the stick up and you'll see this little dot go up into the sky, and you just give it the throttle and it'll go straight up. You want to go down, you just point the thing down. And however, today when I was going through the trees, I was just doing this, just right through the trees. And you might look weird sitting out there doing this, but this thing is amazing, and I hope that somehow they figure out a way to make this work with the other drones too. It is a blast. And this is the throttle. When you're using your thumbs, I guess, because you can strafe and stuff like that, but this is just straight. You're just going straight. You can turn left and right, and you can go up and down, and you can just follow the way you're looking and stuff. It's so simple, and I don't know how to explain it other than just testing it. You really need to try this thing out. If you're going to get the FPV drone, this costs a little bit more. It doesn't come in the pack. This makes it worth the fact that I can't do the manual yet. This makes it totally okay. I am happy playing with this drone, trying to figure it out with this controller, and then doing simulators at night, trying to get ready. And then one day I'll go out and give it a shot. But as long as I have this, I'm cool. I'm taking my time. So definitely get this. This is some technology that is above and beyond. So that is my impression of the FPV DJI drone. Should you get it? If you're a droner, you love drones and you're having fun with your Mavics and stuff, and you want to kind of up your game and you want to challenge something new, yes, definitely get it. Is it expensive? Yes, maybe you can buy a cheaper one and practice with it and then get this one later. However you want to do it. If you're happy with your drone, you're okay with the Phantom or the Mavic, and you're not really looking to do tricks and flips. And my goal is like going down a ravine here in Japan and coming up a waterfall and flipping over and coming down the waterfall, and just that beautiful. That's like my goal. Now I want to do it, so I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything I can until I break it or it happens. That's it. I love these. I have a good time. I take them up. I get good pictures and good photos and videos following cars or whatever I'm working on at the time or playing with. Not a problem. But I do want to up my game, and this is my upping my game. So that's your call. If you want to up your game and you think you can do it, by all means, do it. Now, if you're planning on flying in Japan, now this is another whole different thing. This is Japan. I don't know about the country you're in. Maybe there's only 2 people watching this video. If I help those 2 people, I'm happy. In Japan, by law, you can only fly a drone if you can visually see it. You cannot let it leave the line of sight or whatever it's called. So to fly an FPV drone, it's a little different. You have to register on this site. I'll post like a link somewhere around here, and then you can kind of see it also down in the description. So you have to go on this site, and you have to register your drone. You have to register yourself, and you have to go through this crazy long, annoying, pain in the butt process. And if you are not Japanese, then you are going to need somebody to help you out, because it's just technical word. They want to know how much wind can it take from the left, how much wind can it take from an uprising downflow of a thermometer. I mean, it's just words that just, even if you spoke Japanese, it's difficult. So I would suggest you get a friend that's Japanese to help you with it if you're going to register the drone. Now, on top of that, once you register it, you're supposed to let them know 10 days in advance when you're going to fly the drone, because you're not able to see it. You're wearing goggles, so they want to know where you're going to fly it. And then you have to have a spotter with you, somebody to watch the drone. So that's the process here. It is a pain, but it is what it is. What can you do? I mean, that's the law. So if you're going to get it, get it. Try it out. Have fun. If your friend has it, I would test it first, or if there's a test area or somewhere you can try it, then try it out. As a normal drone, it is fun. It's great. But if you're just going to use it as a drone, just go with the Mavic Air 2. That's my most recommended drone. You want to level up your game, then yes, this is definitely a drone to try out. So that's my opinion. I hope it helps you. I don't know. I know I didn't go into any tech details or anything, but I'm not going to make any mistakes. I just wanted to be from my experience of what I've done and how I've enjoyed the drone so far. But if you are going to get it, definitely get this. This is a must. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try to post some other videos later of me actually doing it or breaking the drone, whatever comes first. All right, thanks for watching.